Hello guys, I am Baltwist, and I'm going to be reacting to Bronies, the extremely unexpected adult fans of My Little Pony. Yes, I realize this is old, but I have not yet seen it. The only documentary I've seen is the one with Ashley Ball, which I forget the name of that one, but I just remember I bought it at BronyCon 2014. This I got for Christmas, so... And I do have one more that I will be reacting to, but for now, let's just watch this one. Play a movie. That's not the one that does that, is it? Play a movie. Enter? There we go. I'm smart-ish.
One of my friends called me on Skype one day and said, "Hey, have you seen this show?" And I'm like, "No." She's like, "Well, it's called My Little Pony: Friendship is Magic, and the internet is raving about it. You've got to see this show. It's so good." I was like, My Little Pony? My Little Pony?
Me.
Isn't that like a show for little girls? And she's like, yeah, but it's great, trust me.
I watch it for a little bit and I think, this isn't too bad. So I put on another one, and another one, and another one. The characters would speak, and they would end up with a smile, and I would smile back at them because it was such a little thing, but it would make my day just to see them smile.
It teaches so many good things.
And next thing I know, I was kind of leaning forward into my monitor, and I was like, this show is amazing. And I thought, maybe I'm the only one who knows about this. Maybe I should start telling people. After at some point I was like, wait a second. My Little Pony. I am getting excited about My Little Pony.
So she's like, "Okay, so are you a brony?" I'm like, "Well, what's that?" And she's like, "There's this huge movement of, guys, in high school and college, they're just so into the show, and they're going to cons, and they're like making music and art." So she's like, "Would you call yourself a brony? Would you, be willing to like just check out more of this stuff?" And I'm like, yeah, I call myself a brony. Yeah.
It was then that I became a brony.
I remember when I first became a brony.
And that's what I knew, that I was a brony.
It felt so weird.
I want to become a brony, and I am a brony.
I'm a brony too.
Another disturbing trend?
Yes.
Bronies, grown men who love My Little Pony.
I think I asked if they were gay.
Old men like pedophiles.
It's a little mind-boggling, more flamboyant.
He dresses like a girl.
That's pretty weird.
Creeps.
I've never watched a single episode of My Little Pony. There's definitely sexual deviancy involved.
There are worse hobbies for a young lad to have, like, terrorism. Am I wrong?
Bronies? I don't know. That's
Pretty twisted.
This phenomenon of brony conventions clearly was foretold in the Book of Revelation. This
Oh
is
god, okay,
a
that's kind of more fun.
toast. It is over. Please get those pictures off of my show.
I mean, you guys are just mean. This is random OC? I'm assuming so. Bronies, the unexpected adult fans of My Little Pony. Pony University. This is where that song came from.
For one to fully comprehend this
Oh,
pony
that's
fascination, let me first sum up the previous of pony generations. Generation 1 appeared on TV in the 80s. It was made to sell toys, plots were hardly very weighty. And Generation 2, I do not mean to grouse and gripe, but these characters fell right into the girly stereotypes. And Generation 3 is just too awful and too tragic. So let's jump
Generation 3
to
is not
number
that bad.
4, where friendship is magic. All the characters compelling and the stellar storytelling and
Hello,
the
guys.
lovely animation brought about great dedication. This is where we meet the bronies, for they like My Little Pony. Yes, the bros enjoy the ponies, so let's go and meet the bronies.
Oh, okay, that's how it works. North Carolina. Oh, yeah, you people. I think that sounds so mean.
Flying. The airport is my second home. It's my greatest passion because it adds a third dimension to your life. People who limit themselves to the ground are missing out a lot because the world is just completely different up there, and it's just total freedom.
What I'd usually be doing right now is grabbing my friend Chris and Ethan, and we'll just go out to a local pizza joint. We'll just go be teenagers. We'll just eat there, and then we'll go to Walmart and stuff.
case before Hot Topic
Let me know
happened.
when the stuff comes in. I'm waiting to receive a text for that white Celestia. I'm
That
excited.
white Celestia. It's as if she's other colors.
Fun to drive a Mercedes because you're usually the only one that has it. I get a lot of weird looks from the rednecks. You know, they're expecting me to be driving a big truck or I'm supposed to be competing with them somehow. I don't see the fun in that.
My first exposure to My Little Pony was in an internet video collaboration. And this guy, he had created a collaboration of the good shows that got a start in 2010. And I saw the ponies on there, and I just couldn't get them out of my head. Like something just caught my eye about them. I don't know why, so I figured, well, I'll give them a chance. I gave it a shot, and I was hooked.
Spike, take a note, please. I, Princess Celestia, hereby decree that the unicorn Twilight Sparkle shall take on a new mission for Equestria. She must continue to study the magic of friendship. She must report to me her findings from her new home in Ponyville.
Thank you, Princess Celestia. I'll study harder than ever before.
And I was like, no, there's no way I'm watching this little girl show. I can't be liking this. You know, that's.
Me too.
not
So
right.
eventually the teaser after the intro came out, and then I got fired.
The show itself, of course, is about the magic of friendship, hence friendship is magic. And what really speaks to me as a grown man is that these characters are so deep and in-depth and complicated while they each portray an element of harmony.
Spirits of the elements of harmony
More friendship
are
is
right
too.
here. Honesty, loyalty, laughter, kindness, generosity. When those elements are ignited by the spark that resides in the heart of
I remember when I first watched this, and I was just like enjoying it.
magic.
Back when I was like,
I wanted to have a show
Hi,
with
Lord
six characters, 6 girls, 6 ponies, who were friends with one another. I already wanted Princess Celestia, I already wanted Twilight to be her student who was displaced. And I had her in Mork and Mindy style write letters surmising what she learned about friendship at the end of the episode.
Dear Princess Celestia,
This is Dragon
this
Jack.
adventure has taught me to never lose faith in your friends. They can be an amazing source of strength and can help you overcome even your greatest fears. Always your faithful student, Twilight Sparkle.
I'm one of those people who can be attached to objects, particularly one which I had, which was a toy aircraft carrier, because I always thought it was just cool, and it was my favorite toy for a while. But eventually got yard saled, and I got over it, obviously, because I have to grow up. I mean, I can't be like 50 or something and like all alone in my house with just a toy aircraft carrier going, yes. This I'm probably never gonna sell.
Lyle is very creative, very artistic. He enjoys building with Lego. He enjoys games on the computer, such as the Minecraft, Halo, that kind of thing.
Lyle is an excellent
I don't
shot.
understand Minecraft.
When it comes to target shooting, he's got me beat by a long shot.
Before I watched the show, I was kind of sad and lonely, and then when I did watch the
Am
show,
I the
I
only
got
person that
this huge
didn't
community.
get into the
This
show
community is just
from
so
depression?
accepting, and it's just a really great thing. It's not a show that you'd expect a lot of people my age and older to watch. The show does help teach a lot of life lessons. There's almost any episode that can help with almost any situation.
All this time.
This is
If we
Prius, your
just
father.
tell me the truth, I promise never to keep my feelings a secret again.
I've actually never seen this episode.
Cross my heart and hope to fly
They
stick a
can
cup
cook
in
in
my
my
Since I've started watching the show, I also feel like I can put up with a lot of situations way better than I could have before.
He said, "What would you think, Mom, if I said I really liked My Little Pony?" And he'd been joking about this for a long time.
I was talking about how it was a good show, but her initial reaction was a bit like,
He said,
My
"I'm
mom.
worried about you, Lyle."
It made me kind of nervous. Like, she wouldn't really accept it if I was serious.
I didn't think he was serious.
And so I told her it was a joke. I was very nervous about my dad finding out. He might be thinking that I'm gay, or a man-child or something.
And see, this is with me, and this
Community
is
is
easier for me
how
than
it's
most,
spoken
but really, you're not supposed to care about what people think about you, no matter who they are. Family, friends, strangers, you don't care. Israel. Oh, we getting a tombstone? Out. Yeah, tombstone. Out. Better.
I remember discovering the show about, I think, a half year ago. The show really brought me all this inspiration to create music. I discovered that making remixes about the show was a popular thing. The chorus is a bit messy right now. It's kind of like messy at the moment.
And ESD.
Every week I post something new. People got to know that, I make music, and I was like, oh, this is Dylan Tombstone, let's check another stuff they made this week. And then it turns out people that developed even parody videos with clips from the show.
Okay, you don't need subtitles. I can understand it just fine. This is a fan-created parody. Matrix. Okay.
Mr. Anderson, surprised to see me?
Oh.
A lot more.
Okay then. Anything. I actually don't have to hurt these changelings because they're all
When I converse with other persons, usually around, stuff like Skype or around forums. I remember talking to one of the biggest funny musicians. He goes by the name Alex Sass. And he was like, dude, you gotta make a remix of one of the songs from the show. And I remember that, I said, okay, fine, I'll do that. I mean, I took one of the songs from the show. I remember it was This one for having lots of views, 1,000 views, 2,000 views, 20,000 views. My YouTube page, it's kind of funny to see myself becoming one of the most subscribed people.
Despite being around the world, Tombstone has never met another Brony person.
I feel sometimes very lonely because I seem to be
As
one
of
of the only
that, who knows if he
personalities.
has an hour or not.
The show itself is extremely well done. The art is fantastic. The writing is wonderful. And the voice acting is just, it's impeccable.
It's sparkly. California.
I met Laura Faust at Cartoon Network.
They're strong.
And I liked her the moment I met her. She was creative and smart and insightful and had real clear vision of what she wanted on different things.
Twilight Visions.
Lauren called me up one day and asked me if I'd played with My Little Pony toys as a little girl. Of course I did. I had every pony, I had every sticker, and she said it's been her dream to have her vision of My Little Pony be on the air, and could you come over and show me some stuff? I said, sure. So we actually went upstairs to my little studio, and I recorded Twilight Sparkle for her and Pinkie Pie, and I think it was either Rainbow Dash or Applejack for just the pitch. She did say that Pinkie Pie was, party girl and really happy, and she wanted sort of high-pitched, really silly girly girl, and that she wanted Twilight to be a little bit more serious, still likable. She's sort of the leader of the ponies.
Wait, what that?
And book smart, and a little bit nerdy, but still someone you'd want to hang out with, and knowing that she had to be, bookish, but still cute. And it's right in that pocket where it's like, Dear Princess Celestia, today I learned, and then talk about whatever it was about her friendship lesson of the day. Your faithful student, Twilight Sparkle. Once she heard my Twilight, she was like, oh my gosh, you're Twilight, that's my Twi.
My Little Pony Friendship is Magic is about a bunch of tiny, cute little herbivores that are facing down these
back when we considered Trixie, Guild, the Diamond Tiara villains.
I think some days we all feel like that. We all feel like we're just a little small thing facing down these huge forces that are greater than us.
United Kingdom. Manchester, isn't that where Buck is?
Animals I find much more easier when I'm trying to relax or cool down from talking with a lot of people.
Horses. My big horse My big horse.
They don't have any sort of major demands, not emotional demands anyway. So I feel like they're much easier to understand, interact with.
When I took him through his 3-year assessment, I was talking to the health visitor and Dan was behind me, and she said to me, "Does he always do that?" And I turned round and he'd lined all the chairs up in the room, right, really straight, all the way across the room, which he did with everything. His toys, video, he used to make a video, a line from the telly, all the way into the kitchen with videos, and anything he used to line up. So I said, yes, he always does that. And she said, I think we need to have a talk, and he was diagnosed with Asperger's.
Asperger's is a disorder of character that is difficulty with social interaction.
Having Asperger's, I really can't explain it. It's basically not being able to understand maybe people's emotions at a time, or understand why someone would do something on an emotional level.
That's how I describe it to my friend. Asperger's, he's not.
Something like that is very difficult for someone with Asperger's usually.
Daniel first told me about...
Kind of funny because my friend's name is Daniel.
I was thinking, oh, I like this show. I want
it's not this guy, I swear.
How am I going to get about getting them without telling them anything about it? So I sort of just sat my mum down and said, okay, I'm going to tell you something a bit weird.
And I thought, oh my god, what is it? And he says, I really like this programme, I want you to watch it. Don't say anything, just watch it. No distractions. I was thinking, oh my god, why does he like this? And after it had finished, I thought, well, yeah, I can see why he likes it. And I thought, he's going to get obsessed with it. As soon as I saw it, I knew that he would be obsessed with it.
The ponies I would most relate to will probably be Twilight, because she gets very freaked out and don't go her way.
I mean, I can see a lot of him in some of the characters.
Oh, I don't have that much
so I thought I bet he could
I don't play PS3 anymore, but...
If something she's trying to achieve goes out of her control or she fails at, she gets very anxious or agitated or very stressed out. Or she has a mental, psychological breakdown and goes crazy.
It looks like some ponies get themselves all worked up.
I hate that episode.
This is not nothing. This is everything. I need you guys to help me find some pony with a problem I can fix before sundown. My whole life depends on it.
I can see obsessive and not coping with certain situations, and I was wondering.
I hope that doesn't cause any issues with copyright from Hasbro, because Hasbro doesn't seem to like people uploading stuff from season 2. I'm not sure why it's season 2 in particular, but I do have a video of blocks worldwide. Germany and Netherlands. Germany.
Hat alles im letzten Jahr angefangen, habe ich auf 4chan ab und zu mal Bilder gesehen von My Little Pony, die fand ich ganz nett, haben mir gut gefallen.
Ich habe die Spielsachen im Spielzeugladen gesehen und habe mich dann dafür interessiert, habe mir dann im Internet die Serie angeguckt.
Als es dann endlich losging zu dem Meetup, habe ich dann noch von einem erfahren, der bei mir in der Nähe wohnt. Da haben wir dann entschieden, dass wir zusammen dahin fahren. Da habe ich dann einen Anruf gemacht, weil ich meine Telefonnummer im Forum hinterlassen hatte.
Es war am Bahnhof, da war das Treffen und ich hatte Cupcakes gebacken, weil das meine Aufgabe gewesen war an diesem Tag.
Well, this girl, I can't tell if she's trying to speak English or if she's actually speaking
Beide
German.
Parteien habe ich dann praktisch Ben auch wirklich das erste Mal von nahen direkt sehen können und da war es dann eigentlich auch schon um mich geschehen.
Haben da dann noch gewartet, bis sie dann endlich kam. Und da hat sie dann ihre Muffins noch verteilt. Habe sie dann das erste Mal gesehen, ja, nettes Mädchen.
Das erste Mal, wo ich ihn gesehen habe, muss ich zugeben, war es natürlich das Aussehen, was mich beeindruckt hat. Dadurch habe ich mich dann so ein bisschen an ihn versucht anzuschleichen, dass es nicht auffällt und habe dann festgestellt, dass es nicht nur das Aussehen ist, sondern dass er die gleichen Hobbys hat, dass er super lieb und nett ist und das hat natürlich das Interesse noch weiter geweckt.
Als sie dann heimgegangen ist, hätte ich schwören können, dass sie mich ein bisschen länger umarmt hat als die anderen.
I'm not saying there's a problem with that. Okay, this is English. I take it there's no German version of MLB. Okay, now we're on to the Netherlands. We're going to go to all the countries that currently have conventions.
Bronies or pony animations. When I make a new show, at first I start with a notepad, just a physical notepad, and I start writing down everything I hear in the song that I associate with the song. Like, I hear a sad part, it made me think of violence, it made me think of this, it made me think of that. I write everything down. And eventually I have a whole paper filled with words, which I then grab and make a story out of. And I basically put some characters from the show, I associate them with those objects, I associate them with the emotions that go on in the show.
I think this guy isn't on YouTube anymore.
A very, very thin storyline. Then I start drawing some frames, some test frames, to see if it, appears well, it doesn't flicker too much, like the frame rate doesn't drop too much. From there on, I just start making the show, and then my mind goes all by itself. It requires a lot of precision, a lot of work.
This is the whole.
You have to make sure that the three laser beams that are in the projector that combine to one
beam. This is the Netherlands,
are perfectly overlapping each other.
Shouldn't
For example, a white laser
con or whatever conventions there.
You're perceiving it as white, but it's actually still three separate laser beams, just tightly spaced together. So every kind of small misalignment will make a difference, and your audience will be able to see it. The elements of harmony playing a role in my life, I think generosity plays an important part. Making stuff for other people, like for free, just gives me a great feel that people can enjoy what I do.
Starlight might be my new favorite pony, but I still have just as much respect for Luna.
I was just sitting here, I was just living day to day.
So it's not a free pass for you to solve her.
Just trying to get by, doing work for my father here and there, and I didn't really have anything to look forward to. Just to see the sunset, and that was it. To go to the next day. As soon as ponies came into my life, I was like, wow, I never want the day to end. It's just such a positive outlook on things. And now I have something to look forward to.
Here we have a strong stereotyping that if you aren't extremely masculine and chauvinistic, then you're homosexual, and in this area, homosexuality is also looked down upon. So I guess it comes hand in hand that if you watch a show that's target audience is children, small girls, then suddenly maybe you're homosexual, and then it's a reason to hate you.
If you choose to be a brony in Appalachian Mountains, you're gonna have problems. You might get beat up. You can get cast out.
Beat up, that's a stretch.
It's not an easy thing.
I don't think it's so much a problem anymore with the brony fandom. I think the fandom has mostly learned to deal with it, except for maybe a few people, and I don't mean to be offensive, but a few people with autism or Asperger's.
My back window, I had a large Celestia.
I kind of have autism, but I don't really have a problem with it. Some people still do though, because they have it worse than me.
Went right through my back window, hit it a few times, and then
I know someone who just doesn't shut up about it. I'm not going to say who it is. He knows who he is.
His rifle he had been hunting with. I got pretty scared at that point. And, he was playfully aiming at me like, you gotta stop this pony, you little gay girly shit, and that's what he pointed right at me. And I freaked out. I slammed the car in reverse and, just managed to get the whole side of this car just bashed up. And then I come home, and then of course my father saw the damage to the car, and he was a little angry, and I just had to explain to him, like, I ran off the road or something, and let's try to cover it up.
Then we're going back to California.
We were asked to make a two-part special. I wanted it to be a great big story. We had this opportunity for a new villain, so we created Discord, and when we were writing the character and we were pitching our premise to our bosses,
didn't you leave after season 1, episode 3?
Telling him he's like a trickster kind of character. They were a little uncertain at first until I said, he's like Q from Star Trek. And they were like, can we get John Delancey?
Keep trying, Twilight Sparkle. Maybe the magic of friendship can help you. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have some chaos to read. I think the Bronies like
John Delancey.
because he's naughty. And their guy.
And I was looking at Greek mythological characters like chimeras and manticores.
I wanted all of his body parts to be from a different animal so that he's not harmonious.
I didn't know alarm clocks had anything to do with this.
This again.
My first introduction.
I don't remember that explosion.
Was I got a call from my agent saying that.
Oh, that's a nice little escort, yeah.
And I read the material. It was very good. I went in. I knocked it off, and completely forgot about it. 3 months later, I go down to my computer and I open it up, and there must be, I don't know, 300 or 400 emails, and they all say My Little Pony. And I call up to my wife and I said, "What do you know about My Little Pony?" And she said, "Well, you had voiced it about 3 months ago." And I completely forgot about that. And she said, "It's a program for little girls." I said, "Well, let me tell you, these aren't little girls that are writing me."
There's a number of reasons people love him. I think they were excited by how epic that episode was.
Yeah, honestly, I still think Discord is an overrated villain. I like him better as a good guy, to be honest.
It was definitely not a typical little girls show.
None of this would be possible without the internet. But companies now are starting to get together, at first at meetups and then conventions. Germany, England, and the biggest convention, BronyCon.
Which is now
So
in
when I heard
Baltimore.
about BronyCon coming up, I decided that I really wanted to go. So I came up with this plan with one of my friends. If I am willing to pay for the hotel room, he and his dad would drive me up and pay for meals. So I told my parents that I wanted to take a trip with one of my friends. They weren't really keen on the idea. They don't really trust me as far as money goes and whatnot. So they insisted that they go if I'm gonna go at all. So they kept asking questions, and I eventually told them it was a Comic-Con. So then that just got them more excited, and they were like, "Oh, well, who's gonna be there?" And I was like, "Well, I just kind of want to go with my friend."
But yet I couldn't find anything online about it as a comic convention.
Oh no, my parents, they're gonna find out. Then eventually my mom the curiosity got the better of her, and she looked it up online with all the information I'd given her. She found out about BronyCon, and she came downstairs to me one day with a smug look on her face, like asking me to elaborate, and I did. And then she told my dad.
He's conservative. I guess that's the major word I would use to describe my husband, conservative.
Well, it's not really a Comic-Con.
Oh, yeah.
She says, remember back in the 80s, My Pretty Pony? Oh, yeah.
My Pretty Pony.
She goes, it's like something to do with that. It's like, huh?
My dad is very conservative. I don't know how my dad reacts to me being a brony because he's very quiet about it.
No. Back to Tombstone.
One thing for sure, regarding the convention, I'm nervous because of many things. First of all, because there's so many people I want to meet. The big reason I'm coming to BronyCon is that I really want to have like one moment in my life to talk to the people I've been talking to all this time.
Is that one toaster also from Israel?
I'm really afraid this is going to be like live performing in front of the audience because he's kind of a shy person, so I have no idea what's going on.
Oh, he's not a shy person anymore.
Maybe have a stage fright or something.
I've never
At least
performed
that I
live
know of.
at all, so hopefully I'm not going to mess up.
When I first get there, like when I'm driving in, I want to be seeing them all walking in there. I'm like, oh man, this is gonna be like almost going to like a rock concert for your favorite band. I was like, oh man, it's gonna be so fun. All right, we're going to New York. That's the money.
Oh yeah, I forgot the first BronyCon was in New York.
Ever held for Bronies. There were only 100 people, and the current one,
That was founder
with a
first
cap of 4,000, it's become a global phenomenon. Well, I'm leaving early in the morning for Buck. Now there are dozens of conventions just in the United States alone, dozens more in Europe.
I would go to Buck, except for that convention is extremely expensive.
On
For Americans anyway.
They were talking about a British BronyCon UK. I saw that and thought, brilliant. I don't have to travel to America, so I definitely decided straight away I've got to go to that convention.
he wouldn't have considered going to a convention about something before.
Pony convention, I'm going to see people. See, yes, that's very ironic because I wouldn't normally go to a convention to see people.
He's organised everything himself. I haven't organised anything. Like, he wanted to do it all himself. So yeah, I think he's looking forward to it.
Well, I plan on getting to the convention by taking an hour train ride to Manchester. This is from getting from the train station to the Bridgewater Hall, where the Brony Clan UK is being hosted. I don't think I'd be comfortable asking people for directions. During my trip, I'm trying to cut down as much interaction with people as possible. If I was in a large crowd, would paranoia be quite my... I'm sort of very aware of people around me. I'm very paranoid about these sort of things.
But it's not possible for me, seeing how it's like $165 for a badge.
I think you'll find very hard.
Maybe I'm wrong with that. If I'm wrong, I'll put a caption somewhere. Tell you how much it really is. I know it's somewhere in that area though.
Walking through a general area such as Manchester, I get a little jittery, start shaking a bit more maybe. I would tend to want to rush, like get places faster. I'm going to be anxious because it's not a new environment, but it's a different environment. People walking about, doing different things in an environment I can't control.
It's kind of me when I first wanted to get out and go to a convention. Like when I first went to BronyCon 2014, I was like, what am I supposed to expect? What do I do? But I had a blast and I returned next year along with going to TROCON before that.
Ich nutze eine Brushable-Figur von Celestia. Ich beginne damit, dass ich praktisch das Grundmodell mit verdünnter weißer Farbe, Acrylfarbe,
yeah, TROCON, it wasn't as fun though.
Schicht für Schicht,
TROCON was
bis
really
die
not that fun.
Farbe praktisch deckend ist und man
But
kann
BronyCon,
die
as usual, was a blast.
Danach male ich das Cutie Mark und die Augen, je nachdem was für
In
Details
2016, I'll have this video I'll probably have this video uploaded in 2016, but it's 2015 is this video. So.
Klar mit sowas hier. Nee, das ist Spielzeug. Im Grunde genommen Spielzeug für Kinder.
You don't like it because you think I'm too. This is for small girls and I'm a woman.
Man kann natürlich auf der Gala ein bisschen Geld verdienen, so nebenbei mit seinem Hobby.
What was I saying? In 2016, I'm going to plan to attend at least 3 conventions.
And how much he likes ponies.
So far, the current plan is Windy City PonyCon, BronyCon, and BronyCan. That BronyCan might change though, I don't know.
Yes, two crazy persons.
I would love to go to BronyCan, but you know, it all comes down to the money. Anyways, I'm getting off topic.
I told my wife, no way. Just say no.
I think if my dad was to meet someone at BronyCon, if he met someone with similar interests from the same culture he's used to and same generation, it would just help to bridge the gap between him and this strange new culture shock.
I agree with this kid. Like,
pink hair, satin pink costumes.
If only I could get my dad to watch the show, he'd understand and things would be so much better.
yeah, same with mine, except for if I were to ask him to watch the show, I already know his answer. New Jersey. BronyCon. Man, that was in New York. The main event hall, or the main hall as it was back then. Pre-registration line. How long it is. I can just imagine like the people of New York or New Jersey just seeing this and being like, what the fuck's going on? That's when the match is still quick? Oh god. You don't care. Weekend pass. Wait. Okay, so the first weekend convention. Okay, that's weird, but the first 3-day convention was in New Jersey. Okay. Because I remember BronyCon started out as a 1-day convention in New York.
I love the songs, and the culture around the show is amazing.
Cannons. Those are always what you need to bring to a convention.
John Delancey, I am so glad that he decided to voice Discord because nobody else could have done it better than him. There's already present.
I'll admit, the pony talk is kind of too much, and I do it sometimes, I'll admit, but...
Positive energy.
You know, jeez.
Everyone realizes
France all over again.
Here.
BronyCon! registration day. Gonna make you smile and I will brighten up your day. Doesn't matter now if you are sad or blue. Cheering up my friend is just what Pinky's here to do. That patch looks like Pinky's mouth. Opening day.
That I thought was so unusual about BronyCon was the sense of spirit. This was a big
bring him in, John.
4,000 people who had the sense that they were in
John Valentine, who is that? Andrea Lehman?
It was
Ashley
the
Ball?
of that convention.
I should know it's Ashley Ball. I mean, I've seen the Ashley Ball documentary.
Sister BronyCon was because I felt that she'd be the kind of person who would understand this sort of thing.
And he can't drive.
That's another reason.
Oh, this is the party with Pinky Tombstone,
It's
right?
just jaw-dropping. You also get to meet the original cast. You get to see what they think of the Brony culture, and they are shocked by how many people have come here today.
How important are these cons like BronyCon that are emerging for the Brony culture?
I think they're very important.
To us, they're very, yeah, exactly.
Functions in the Brony community. For one thing, they
Not
provide
funny,
an
deal
opportunity
with
for
it,
people
bitch.
who might not ordinarily be able to socialize without the Bronies to do so.
I'll admit though, it was like a first time con. I probably would not expect nearly that much. Although I do hear that the New York one didn't get much attention because it was so
A lot
small.
of people need to be able to express their
But I
enjoyment of
think
the show. And
the very first pony convention was not BronyCon, it was My Little Pony Fair, but that wasn't for Generation 4.
And people think it's just ponies and all for girls, but it's really not. It's about friendship and having a good time, and it's pretty much what everybody's doing right now here.
I really love the characters because they're relatable to everyone and they have some depth, so it's not like they're just stereotypes.
So you have dates over my
We have a date every Saturday at 1 o'clock.
So is this the convention center in New Jersey, or like what is
If you
it?
had spoken to me a year ago that I would be at a convention for a...
Hey, this is hand over the muffins. No, you're supposed to hoof over the muffins.
I would just laugh at you.
Back then, you would kind of expect a shirt to say that.
Hi, you're in the minority here.
I feel like I'm in the minority, but I also don't feel like it's like where most minorities kind of feel suppressed. It's like, oh, there's
Yeah, what's kind of funny is that her outfit kind of looks like the cloaks from season 5,
right now. I mean, you know,
like those small village, while it was still communist.
Now I'm here, 900 bucks, biggest call out.
That's us,
4 times
or
the population of my town is in this building.
is there something I missed? Is he cosplaying as Lauren Faust?
when I
Like
was
the Faust
diagnosed
one.
with cancer, he kept visiting me in the hospital and he showed me the show. It helps me feel happy, and the most important thing when you're sick is to feel happy, so you get better. And it just helped me so much.
All opening ceremonies. I have yet to make any opening ceremonies. However, with BronyCon at least, I am going to make opening ceremonies in 2016. I promise you. I don't make promises out there. I'm not even really looking at you, am I? I'm looking at my wings
part of the reason
that I
why
wore at
I started
ShotCon.
BronyCon. I realized this is a community that deserves a real world presence. It deserves what the Star Trek fans
He's wearing
and
a Mario
the
shirt.
anime fans have. It
Is that
deserves
kind of like that racist Mario? There's a bunch of racist Mario shirts out there. And not like the video racist Mario, but like Mario's just kind of racist in general. That's all rack. That's all
It
rack.
didn't take long to bump into a few members of the Knoxville Brony group here, and I'm going to hang out with them today. Bringing these people together
Okay,
is
so it's
what
not
the show has accomplished.
It's
Sure, it's not
very
gonna go
exciting and really, really cool that my dad is okay with this kind of thing. Because My Little Pony is like, there's nothing violent.
No, my dad is.
There's nothing.
Oh, there's plenty violent. Have you seen season 3?
Enjoy for good reason.
Rainbow Rocks and French memes out of my head because
hell-bent on going.
this is 2013, where I went from season 1 to the first Equestria Girls. So
I said, are you serious? You're going to go? Yeah, I'll go. And I said, okay, fine. And then after a while, I know she didn't want to
do that trip. So I feel like I got roped into it.
Now I know that my daddy's like not okay with
man named Lyle
Brony Can.
said that his father was very
BronyCon,
and he was concerned.
But he's gonna win. We're dragging him there this year.
Meet his father.
Or well, I guess technically next year. Whenever you're watching this video.
Nice to meet you. This is all overwhelming, isn't it? Yeah. So should we go in and start taking a look? Because we're going to see this sort of through your eyes, and actually through all of our eyes. Okay.
You get a tour like that from John Dye, so like, I would make my day with it.
I decided that maybe we could have a surprise for Lyle's father, and that is that he could meet another father, a father of a young man who was also a Brony, and this father actually did know all about BronyCon and wanted to bring his son to it, and we thought it would be very interesting to have these two fathers get together and talk.
Tom, Michael, Lyle, Michael, this is Hayden. Do you have any trepidation about coming here?
Just having the voice of Discord doing that, all that for you, like that would just, that would just kind of like make your day, you know. I'm actually gonna look at you guys upside down.
But my son.
Probably not a good idea.
Before you think about.
I don't like this new desk setup for my computer. I know you guys don't like staring at my back, but I don't have much option.
One who follows the crowd. That's one thing I always like about him. He's an individual, which is sometimes hard for him. And I know it's hard for Bronies. They get picked on at school.
Actually, not so much anymore.
I like to tell people
At least not in my school.
Bronies because of that, especially when they're younger.
My son still has concerns about what other people may
I mean, yeah, there's still occasional haha, but like
pink hooded sweatshirt at this convention.
My son has friends and he's a little.
it's like people don't make fun of you, and actually there are actually quite a few Bronies in my school.
The fact that my son came to me and he confided in me and felt that he was comfortable to say that, I think that's a good thing. I think you should take that as a good thing that your son has that relationship where he took a chance and discussed it with you, or you found out right out.
I found out through my wife. My son was hesitant to mention it to me himself.
I have great sympathy for Lyle's father because his 16-year-old boy wants to watch a cartoon for little girls. I also understand the fact that
I started it younger, so I guess that wasn't as bad for my parents.
And to
the first person I told
into a world which was very different than the world that he's used to.
I don't remember who the first person I told was. I remember the first family member I told. Oh, hey, Amy Kenny Rogers.
He isn't able to walk. He isn't able to do any of the things that I expected him to be able to do. If he was a Brony, I would think that was amazing because he would be a sweet, understanding, compassionate boy that got that watching girl characters do awesome things is just as awesome as watching boy characters do awesome things.
To people who feel that, an adult man watching a show that's meant for little girls, that they think that that's wrong or that this show I would say this. I would ask them, why
Okay, that's a little horrifying.
That's strange. And what about that makes you uncomfortable?
I'm not saying cosplaying is bad, is a bad thing, but he went a little too far.
Conclusion, there's something wrong with that. But I think that that's what needs to be changed.
Hey,
we need to allow men to be gentle and to be sensitive and to care about one another and not call them weak.
I may be banned from Healthy Farms, but
At BronyCon, there was a lunch just for people who were in the military.
Oh yeah,
It was
military
really amazing because close to 60.
Get some black griffin. Lunch for
I'm here to see
Bronies.
so many other military Bronies that it's just been really uplifting because as a Brony, I just really felt isolated. Like I was the only one in the military, and that it was so hard to be so excited about something that I love so much and not be able to tell anyone. I'm going to a BronyCon, I wanted to tell everyone. I wanted to tell my friends and my family, but my friends are all in the military, and it's like, oh, well, I can't tell them because
they'll shoot you.
Why? Because of the way that the military in general, would react. It's like, oh, you like a little girl show, oh, well, you must be, feminine or gay or whatever. And it's like, I want to just sit down and say, no, watch the show, watch the animation, and appreciate it for what it is and get past that. Because, are you so afraid of exposing yourself to something feminine that you're gonna suddenly turn gay. You're gonna catch the gay by watching the show.
Exactly.
Loyalty, kindness, generosity.
Sometimes I think people don't actually believe that. They're just saying that to be assholes.
Coincide with some of the Army values of loyalty, duty, respect, selfless service.
I think that's kind of what helps me get past it.
I was so excited to meet all these bronies who served me.
This is actually law,
I
right?
surprised them and I brought them autographed slap bracelets.
Who wants to be slapped?
I can see someone like that just coming in the room like, hey, who wants to be slapped? What is wrong with me?
They were not alone.
Thank you guys for everything you do. It's all very Twilight-licious of you.
That's very strong. I mean, I find that delicious. Oh, hey, John Lancy here.
Though the Broken Pony fandom might simply seem absurd, true fans adore the show while others gallop through the herd. For hipster bronies, watching Paso Ponies has appeal. Though first it seems ironic, soon enough it's very real. For moderates, the stock was humble, finding it through hype. When the bronies did invade their favorite forums and websites. And though first a little skeptical, these moderates inquired. And once they finally saw the show, their love for it.
That's basically me in a nutshell.
Yes, the moderates and hipsters are the big groups of the bronies. They're the dudes that are the bulk of all the men who like the ponies.
How much longer does this have? Okay, it's nowhere near done.
One of the things we wanted to really do was to look at some of the myths that people had about bronies. A lot of those stereotypes would say, you know, they're 30-year-old unemployed males who live in their parents' basements and watch cartoons all day. This was not the case. That, in fact, they are a highly educated group of heterosexual males. I'm a biologist. I work at Children's Hospital of Philadelphia. The average age is around 20.
In a stressful environment that is college, it's a fun escape for me.
The bronies tend to be open to new experiences.
The thing is how nowadays colleges or how they'd be a lot more opening or welcoming to bronies.
The fandom creates a sense of security and acceptance in an uncertain and troublesome world.
There are a group of bronies who are more extroverted, and we call those the social bronies. I sometimes have taken to call them our evangelical bronies, because these are the bronies who are out there trying to increase the herd.
I'm a brony because this fandom is freaking incredible.
We're bronies because it's a show about colorful ponies in a magical land of sunshine and rainbows. And awesome.
The show breeds genuineness.
Oh, Peter,
when I realized they weren't being sarcastic or ironic, it was amazing. And that has actually really impacted me.
And the fans, now it kind of belongs to them now.
Oh, it's Snips' voice actor, Cliff. This, alright, I'll let you have him.
I've watched all the episodes, in part because when I'm interacting with the bronies, I like to know what they mean by terms like 20% cooler.
Suited for success. Duh. Beam that everyone loves.
The shape's fine, just make the whole thing, you know, cooler. It needs to be about...
What interruption?
Or post 9/11.
Oh, I'm gonna be hating for that one.
Worrying about terrorism, worrying about aggression. And in a lot of respects, I believe that this is a flight from that it's a retreat to something which is happier, which stresses getting along with others, and is an escape from the worries that these young people are facing.
My Little Pony Friendship is Magic is sort of letting them know that they're not alone.
One of the other things that we did look at was what was the function of being a brony. The first one was a social function. The second function, and the one which surprised us the most, is that it's also served a guidance function, because cartoons are little parables.
British.
And we have begun to call this the WWPD factor. What would a pony do?
It's a show that has actually
Westwood.
created a community. I think it's a visceral thing that's happening here. I think it's connected to the heart.
Yep.
And I think the show is a show
I
that's...
actually do like seeing kind of because as much as they make it sound like I hate Spike, I really don't. He's just not one of my favorites. He's awesome, don't get me wrong. He's better than a lot of other characters on the show. Snips.
with ponies, with strawberry shortcake, with my stuffed animals. I
But
look
yeah,
back now and I know that
if I remember correctly, Kathy Westlock was also the voice actor of Princess Rarity and the Runaway Rainbow. So
there's something about the color combinations.
You guys are gonna hate me for knowing that.
The cutie mark that just made my brain
I think
automatically
Nicole Oliver and Tara
put
Strong
pieces
did
together
some
and
voices in
creating
the previous
personalities
generation
for
too.
them.
I could
Once I
remember.
had my cast, I would put them in different areas of my room. So, like my dresser drawer, I'd put the castle.
Why
up
do you
on
keep
top of
animating
that. That
yourselves?
was the castle up on the mountain, and I'd put the cloud somewhere on my bed, and the whole bed was just like the expanse of where the Pegasus lived, and my whole room would become the world that they lived in, and the stuffed animals I played with would be the creatures that they encountered, and I'd make up these adventure stories for them to go on.
Oh, Slender Pony, seriously. Oh, look, it's that guy. And that's basically
Creative Bronies are the final bunch you need to know, making music, art, and stories all inspired by the show. Well, counting down the days from season 1 to season 2, the musicians wrote funky little songs like Pinky's Brew. The Pony Generators turned out many new OCs, and the artists put their art on Tumblr blogs for all to see. The writers pair their favorites, voicing charming little quips, and although they face some critics, they will go down with their ships. Their talent
Jesus.
is ever growing, never stopping, from the music to the stories and the artwork and the clothing.
Yeah, why would you just...
But let's steer away from that one and get right back to the ponies, for creatives are the final bunch in the wacky world of Bronies. Creatives and moderates and lastly hipster Bronies.
This is pretty much what John Lindsay would do that if he could.
My Little Pony.
Wait, there's one more, bro.
Forgetting some pony. It seems your little lessons left the fairer sex neglected.
Well, when girls like little ponies, that's very much expected.
Even so, you can't ignore these fillies' contributions. We're involved in brony culture and we demand our inclusion. We attend all the conventions, create art and music too, discuss the show, talk on forums, everything that these dudes do. No, we're not bros, but we're bronies, though some prefer Pegasisters. And we also are...
Is there a reason her in particular just had like a giant
and
butt?
even hipsters.
Well, there you have it. All the Bronies. Any pony else I miss? Now, if it's all the same to you, class dismissed.
Hey, how's it going? We're Equestria Daily. We're worldwide. We constantly get fan music, fan art,
Okay,
stories.
Equestria Daily stuff
Hey,
now.
I have something for you. You have something for me. Yes, it's a huge fandom. We have musicians, we have artists, and they're all professionals. The music is amazing. We have a lot of fan fiction authors. There's a massive website dedicated specifically to fan fiction. In general, we love creating things and we're good at it.
I watched other artists on DeviantArt, and one of them had a journal
Oh, the
featuring
magical
JJ.
website.
Oh, check out his art. He's really good. So I went and I checked it out, and I was like, oh my gosh, he's amazing!
As a kid, I used to draw military vehicles because my dad was in the Navy. My father passed away and I stopped drawing. And the ponies came along and I started drawing again and they inspired me.
A lot of people try to get drawings that are show accurate, try to look like they're just right from the show, and he does a little
That guy looks familiar. I can't
I
tell
decided
if
to
who
come
it is,
to
but he looks
BronyCon
familiar.
because
Or maybe it's not
Art
anyone,
College
I'm
is
seeing
going to
someone
be-
else, but...
If it weren't for her, I wouldn't be here. I have to thank her so much.
He takes the characters from the show and asks a question, and he draws the response that character would make.
When I draw and I see the smile on their faces, I'm so happy.
The Brony community is very into making their own content. It means a lot to them to be able to become a part of the community and expand the community more.
Yeah, but this is becoming a lot more of a problem because Hasbro executives are a bunch of dicks.
It's kind of brought out a creative side that I haven't used in almost 20 years. So when I was growing up, there was a lot of creative outlets that I would have, like with my singing and the playing of the clarinet and marching band. And then my family moved to Texas and I joined the military and that all went away. And so here, after 16, 17 years, here I am, I'm practicing my singing again, I'm helping animators with artistic projects, I'm writing a story, and I've kind of surprised myself with it, to be absolutely honest.
BronyCon means to me a place where people can go and be tolerated and accepted. It doesn't matter your age, your gender, anything about you. No matter who you are, you can find a place in this fandom and you can be accepted. And I think that's really cool because a lot of other fandoms are restrictive.
I don't know how much, in my camera, how much time to finish this or not. Are we getting for another song here? No, it's just a cosplay montage. This kind of looks creepy.
As Mr. and Mrs. Cake from My Little Pony.
Everything is fine, Mr. and Mrs. Cake.
I really like dressing up. I'm really good with the sewing machine. We go with the article, so
I wish I was.
Do it.
Although I've only recently just got one that's on the floor over there.
Hi. How are you doing? I'm good. How are you? I'm pretty good. Are you having a good time? Yes, I'm great job. Good. I love your outfit. You just happened to walk off the street, right?
Yeah. Wow, it's like out of the kitchen.
Well, enjoy yourself.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Oh, we're going back to Chipstone? This music usually be Chipstone.
All the Brony music celebrities are going to explain how they remix their music and the magic behind how they make it work.
Well, basically, right now, going back to the show, we focus back on the remix album I've been planning for so long, so yeah, expect more stuff to come soon. Yeah.
That's the music for you. You got your big names. There's Tombstone.
Oh, how I missed that YouTube.
Brony, Mike the Mike, I Bring the Lulls. The most music I have is from the Living Tombstone.
I curse the name.
No one behind it all. Discord.
And he has a very interesting OC. And, you know, I saw him in September when he actually animated his OC, and that was it was just amazing.
I can't remember what happened in September when everything is gone, when it's dark and I'm alone. It's been forever since I could have remembered where the hell is everybody. I just wanna know the story of what happened right before I became so alone. I definitely like that song, you know, we're going back to Germany.
Hochgeladenen Bilder auf DeviantArt oder im Forum. Bisher habe ich meine Figuren
I was about to say that's all I remember. I remember this is. Oh, why did I figure it a Pickamina?
produziert, weil im Endeffekt denke ich
I
schon,
remember that
dass
this
es auch
was
Pony ankommt,
before
Liebe, die
season 4, so.
In Europa ist es relativ schwer, die neuesten.
Well, I'd imagine it'd be hard to find MLP merchandise outside of America or Canada. So pretty much the only place it's easy to find would be America, Canada, and the UK. That's pretty much the only places that I would think would be easy to find. I might be wrong. There might be more places now, but.
Tracy. No, that's just gone. That's actually so right.
British
I need to
pound.
make more stuff.
I actually have a 5-pound bill in my drawer over there. And are we going to Manchester now? Back to this guy.
Oh, this Batman.
Who's there? Ooh, that's nice. That wasn't the convention center. That's not what I think is. I'm assuming it's still nice. I don't know if I got it on my vlog channel or not, but I've been
asking me for directions on the screen. I don't know why it's less awkward asking someone in the store. I guess maybe they know a bit more. I don't know. That just feels right. So I think I'll try in here. Something. Along this way. Would it be better if we asked those people outside the train station while they were walking out? Wasting water. Google Maps, you failed me the last time. I have no idea what to do. I could somehow see the spirit of Discord somehow floating behind me as a little devil laughing his head off. Excuse me, do you sort of know your way around here?
Yeah, but that seems good.
Yeah.
That's 3 buses, and that's what you're around.
I was an idiot and, well, no, I was a sensible person and asked for directions, which I should have done straight away.
Meanwhile, the convention center.
One day before my flight, so I hadn't got time to check everything up. These kind of things are prone to mistakes. It's always very much of a challenge. That's why it's very rare that shows are being done in a different country instead of just something local. Someone's in the water. This could be very bad, yes. Because it's actually burning. It says the it is burning, so... Wait, stop. What did you just do? Try it again. Yeah, I know. Get some tape, please. So the cable didn't snap because it was kind of bent. I had to bend it back, so I'm kind of worried about that. Maybe one of the signal cables got broken because of that, but we'll see.
And it finally arrives.
Something I can relate to in this sort of crowd, because we all like My Little Ponies.
Amazing. It gives you a weird feel, right? Seeing all those people watching, or, I mean, there's gonna be 500 people watching my stuff. Amazing. I can already feel the energy it gives you.
It's really exciting.
That's kind of if any of my panels that application that I sent to both Wendy City or BronyCon, if either of them get approved, I'm gonna be feeling that. I'm gonna be like, okay, it's gonna be a crowd, and I'm gonna be on the stage doing shit. But that all, I have to wait until it gets approved, if it gets approved.
High cloche. That's just amazing. I'd really want one of them. I want 6 of them, one for each character.
I'm not sure I want a giant one. I got my own little collection over there, but...
I made a video and put it on YouTube.
Oh, that's
the manliest brony in the world. And it was a dig on the Dos Equis commercial. I don't always watch cartoons for little girls.
When I do.
But when I do,
I prefer My Little Pony.
I prefer My Little Pony. Fringes. And so it took off. It got huge. It basically went viral. Okay. So I kept doing them. I did a few more. Stay manly, my friends. And now I've got a fan base of people who send me questions. Basically, I'll get 1 or 2 a week asking me. I had one last week where a 13-year-old boy was going on a date, and he asks me, "What do I do?" And it was basically, dude, don't overthink it. If someone asks me a question, a real serious question, I do my best to give them a decent bit of advice.
Sometimes there's battles to fight in that area of the country where you're at. Maybe it's not a battle.
I told him, I said, you can try as hard as you want. I'm not going anywhere.
Well, wait until you go to college, then give them all the flying wahoo, because you don't need them, and they don't need you. You don't need to impress them. They are just going to do this, move on. You don't need that kind of hate in your life.
I started off this show thinking people were going to think it was lame no matter what, and then having little friendship lessons at the end where we wrap up and talk about why we're all friends, that people would think that was really corny and silly, but these bronies are taking these lessons to heart and consider
the thing is though, as corny as some of them are, that's what makes it special. That's why we like it.
We have in the show, they're expanding out to their lives and their world, and I think the most amazing thing they've done, and I think the biggest thing that they've done in the name of this love and tolerate and spreading the magic of friendship, is the amount of money that they've been able to raise for good causes. It's been incredible.
Oh yeah,
I do art every single day, actually.
Millions of
Grayson
conventions do
is my 12-year-old son who was diagnosed with brain tumor at 6 years old.
I was one of the fastest kids at my school.
He had a terminal diagnosis. So tell me the names of the ponies.
Rainbow Dash, as you know.
Rainbow Dash.
Twilight Sparkle.
The Bronies have huge hearts. They sent him messages. Okay, do you want me to read you some of these? Some of the messages?
All of them.
All of them.
All of them.
To know someone out there that doesn't know me is thinking about me. That really means a lot to me.
You're an awesome kid, and I really hope that you feel better and make a full recovery. Stay strong and stay brony. Here's a bro hoof just for you.
Hi guys. Today we are going to go visit Grayson, and I'm surprising him with a giant pony. Just goes to show you how generous this community is. I put on my Twitter that proceeds from these little hats I made would go to him, which we sold $500 worth of hats, so I'm going to give his mom that check, and then there's a $6,000 check just from donations online.
This is one of the things that they made me.
Aww. People who don't like or hate bronies have no idea what the group is about. They look outside of themselves, and they're doing good things for other people.
You are Twilight Sparkle.
Okay, good.
This post has been in my possession since
This
December,
gang that
and
Tara
I
Strong
decided
comes to your
a while
house
ago
at that
that
age when you're a
after I
brownie,
went to BronyCon,
like
I
as
was
young
going
as
to
he
do
was,
it
like,
somehow to some
you know, that
charitable
just makes your
cause.
day. And so, like,
So,
it's not just the bronies that are amazing,
sad to see
it's
you go.
all the people that work on the
I'm
show
happy to see
too.
you go
Like,
because I know that
I
it's
think
going
they're
to be
giving
a
us
really
too
good
much
cause.
credit. Like, yes, we
Charity
do
is part
stuff,
of the
and
show
I don't need to
in
sound
that we all
unappreciative,
help
but like,
each other without expecting anything in return. And at every convention, there's always a big auction to
Like,
raise funds for a worthy cause.
the writers, the voice actors, the directors, all them, they do just as much work as we do, if not more. They're giving us too much credit here. Like, honestly, they make it sound like that we're the big guns. No. We're equal in power. Remembering that season 5 exists.
Purple Tinker's poster ended up selling for $4,050, which was amazing.
The message is really good because it's aimed at sort of a fundamental thing about human behavior, which is just be a good friend, which is something you're trying to teach your children when they're at the age that the demographic is about. There's something really attractive about getting that message again.
It is a time in society when people are breaking from stereotypes and treasuring their individuality.
Today's world of utter chaos needs actual messages of integrity and harmony, and it doesn't have to suck.
However, should have listened to what she said.
When I was invited to BronyCon, you know, I had a lot of mixed feelings because I had already left the show.
Yeah. Oh, what, she wants out of BronyCon? Can you come again, please? You're going everywhere else. Can you come to BronyCon? House the Corn? Or Winnie City PonyCon? Or BronyCon? Or wherever I might be going?
I'm humbled and astonished, and I can't thank you enough. I love you guys so much.
I kind of like know her decision. Like she's like one of the people that's bad with words, but she's like extremely thankful.
But I don't regret the decision to leave. I had to, but it's really sad to see it continue without me.
I just want to thank everyone for being here. Thank everyone for supporting the show. Thank everybody for showing that the girls and the things that they love are worthwhile. You know?
Whether or not people can continue to write them or continue to let them live with or without you, they were conceived of and created by me. The world, all of it. I started it, I built it, and it's nice to know that everybody knows it. It's really good to know.
We would like to present you with this gift.
Galacon. They're gonna galloping brony dance thing. Grand Brony Gala. That's in Florida, right? Oh wait, this is Galacon? No, I think this is Germany. Either Germany or Florida. I know, there's two conventions with the word gala in them. I get them mixed up all the time.
Also ich blicke in eine
Oh yeah, so this is the one in
Ich hoffe
Germany.
natürlich, dass wir
Luxembourg, Germany, I believe, is where it's going to be in 16, or maybe that's where it's
Ich
been for a
denke,
while, I
was
don't
er
know.
mir wirklich am meisten gibt, ist diese Freiheiten, mich wieder entfalten zu können, mich nicht mehr einschränken zu müssen, meine Hobbys ausleben zu können mit meinem Partner, ohne dass ich Angst haben muss, dass er es nicht toleriert, sondern ganz im Gegenteil, er lebt es mit mir aus, mit mir gemeinsam, nicht nur über My Little Pony, sondern
I would love to go to
das
any
ist das, was ich
convention
schätze.
out of the continent. I would love to go to England, Germany, Netherlands. Oh, fuck.
So yeah, this is
Oh, this is good old days of my tombstone.
We'll go all or nothing.
I love that song. I really need to listen to it
So
more.
let's play and enjoy the show.
I think I'm going a bit too crazy. Oh my god. This is amazing. Does Laser Pony still make videos? I don't know, maybe I'll look him up later. Oh my god. Is he the one that originally started that? Dear Luna? Is that an actual song? I don't know the song. I like the beat though. I feel like I'm actually at a convention. Like, this documentary just puts you there. Like, it's amazing.
It's been absolutely fantastic. It's been so fun. Just coming here and seeing everyone and having a massive party, rocking out to all the music. I don't feel anxious at all now. I feel completely serene. Hey, I was wondering if you could sign that DVD.
Of course I can. Someone actually came over and asked me to sign a DVD, which I've never done before. There you go.
Thank you very much. This was wonderful. I'm never, ever, 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 ever going to regret that. It's been the best day of my life so far.
Oh yeah, BronyCon, BronyPalooza.
Since the morning I've been signing pictures.
BronyCon 2015 was my first BronyPalooza attendance. I didn't go to BronyPalooza in 2014, which is something I heavily regret now. And I missed Tombstone's performance at 2015, but I did get to see Aviators and Odyssey Europe, so that was amazing. Oh, and Aquamarina. Can't forget about her. These were... Discord,
second and started broken through a couple of people, and then it just escalated. There were more people joining in. Well, I feel like this whole event has helped me to maybe approach people who I wouldn't normally or wouldn't know. And yeah, I could do it a lot more easier, I think, because it's just.
Yeah, see, like these kind of events, meeting people that have the exact same interests in you, who can relate to you, it really does help. Now, talking to people never really was a struggle with me, at least, like, it was for a while when I was a bit younger, but like, a little bit before BronyCon.
You don't have to do it anymore.
Back then, that was like the weirdest thing to hear.
Check it out, just to try to piece it together.
Yeah!
It's something that can be more than what it currently is, and I think it's going to turn into something like that. It is a way of dealing with human interaction. Every individual these core values, just being able to be kind, courteous, something you don't see.
But it's enjoyable.
It may have been intended for little girls, but it ended up transcending that.
I wouldn't be surprised if My Little Pony has a hand in changing how people see things. I think it makes these little tweaks on people.
I know I've heard it. What is it?
A lot of people find something healing in it that makes the world brighter and makes you go, okay, it's not so bad.
Bronies are not just fans that are interested in watching a cartoon. What makes them special is that they're willing to take the lessons from this show, and they're lessons that were intended for children, and turn them into adult lessons. And they're still the same lessons that we need to be applying as adults. And that we're really talking about being nice and kind and generous and loyal. And we don't have many things in our society right now that does that.
My Little Pony is opening some people's minds about what is acceptable in behavior for men and what it means to be a man, and whether or not being sensitive and being caring is part of being a man. Maybe those are like little seeds that are being planted into the world and into society that in years to come might make a difference somewhere. That would be wonderful if it did.
I just had the best weekend of my life. It was almost a whole weekend of partying, hanging out with people that were, passionate about the same thing. We share the same interests, open-minded. I've had a smile on my face, for the past 48 hours, and it's just been incredible.
With sunshine, sunshine, all I really need is a smile, smile, smile. My friends are mine. I messed up. Whoops. Offended me. Bronies, the end. The extremely accurate adult fans of My Little Pony. And I'm assuming that this is just credits from here on out. Alright. I don't know if you're still recording or not. Are you still recording? Is my camera surviving? My camera is somehow surviving, but not very much longer. I think the overall message is be you. It's gonna go out any moment, it's gonna run out of space, but yeah, I hope you enjoyed, and I hope you realize, for any non-Bronies watching, I hope that you realize that we're not just these gay assholes, like, we're something in the world. I can't really say much because the camera's about to go out any second. I guess you can just stare at my pretty face, or my pretty neck, the back of my head. That's all the camera goes out. I hope you realize how much this helps people.